Hello, in this video we'll be looking at using intercepts, which is chapter 4 lesson 2. Now this word intercepts is again not a new word for you, because like in the previous video I said you have again already learned about X intercepts and Y intercepts, so better be this like a review for you, because it's one of the algebraic lessons which we need to remember. You should not be forgetting. All right, now let me quickly take you through what is X and Y intercept. X intercept means the value of X when the value of Y is 0. This is X intercept. So in short, the value of X can be any value, but the value of Y needs to be 0. So basically the point is going to be on the X axis. That's called the X intercept. And what about the Y intercept? Similarly, what's the value of Y when X is 0 is Y intercept, which means the line or Y-intercept is going to be on the y-axis and X-intercept is going to be on the x-axis. But the value of X has to be 0 for Y-intercept, and the value of Y has to be 0 for X-intercept. Now, I really do not know how much clear this figure is for you, but yes, you can surely look from your books for a clear picture. So this question simply says find the X and the Y-intercept. Now what did I just say? X-intercept means that will be on the X-axis. So this is the X-axis. So where is this line touching the X-axis? At 4. So the X-intercept is going to be 4. And what about the Y-intercept? Y-intercept lies on the Y-axis. So which line, when the line touches the Y-axis, which point is that? That's a 2. So the Y-intercept is going to be 2. Wasn't that easy? Now this is the same concept, but the value of X and Y will definitely differ because the lines differ. So X-intercept for this is going to be, this is X-axis. So where the line touches the X-axis is the X-intercept, which is a -1. Similarly, what is the Y-intercept? That's going to be where the line touches the Y-axis. That's a 4. Here also, X-intercept is going to be -3 because that's where the line is touching the x-axis, so -3, and y-intercept is going to be a 3 as well. Now if you would write the coordinates, yes, when we are graphing we do need the coordinates to graph. Now if you have the x-intercept, you can say the coordinates are -3, 0, and if you have the y-intercept, the coordinates are going to be 0 and 3. In this question, not necessary, but yes, it will come in use when you're graphing the equations, right? So this is how you will have to write the coordinates for x-intercept. X-intercept, y is 0, y-intercept, x is 0. Simple as that. Now let's move on. Here you go. They have asked you to use intercepts to graph the line described by each equation. So you have to graph the line described by the equation. Now again, this is in the standard form of linear equation, which is ax plus by equals c. Now in the previous lesson, I think we did not study this, or even in the previous other chapter. Here, this value of c means the y-intercept. So in the standard form, which is ax plus by equals c, the value of c is the y-intercept. So there's a quick hint for you. Using the y-intercept, simply you can graph the line, right? But it's not that easy, we could say, because they have asked us to use the values here, right? So let's see, what are we going to do here first? To do this, we are going to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, right? So to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept, we have to do. Now there are many ways you can do, but the easiest way is called the cover method. What is this cover method? Let me show you what the cover method is. Now if you want to find the x-intercept, what you're going to do is you're going to cover the y. All right, now what are we finding? We are finding the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept for this equation, we covered the y. What are you left with once you cover the y? We are left with 3x equals -6, right? Now we're going to solve this equation. So how are we going to solve? X equals -6 divided by 3, which means x equals -2, which means the x-intercept is a -2. Okay, now I'm going to find the y-intercept now. So to find the y-intercept, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the x. So cover the x. What are you left with? You'll be left with 2y equals -6, which means if you would solve this, 2y minus 6y is going to be equal to -6 divided by 2. So the y-intercept is going to be a -3. Right, now we have the x-intercept and we have the y-intercept. Now if I would write coordinates, how am I going to write the coordinates for this? It's going to be -2, 0, and for this it's going to be 0 and -3. Now I have two coordinates, so simply I can graph it. So -2, 0 is here, and 0 and -3 is here. So just join both the x and the y-intercepts and you're done. That's how you graph using the x and the y-intercepts. Just extend it a bit. Now again, do use rulers, don't use freehand to draw graphs. So this is how your graph would look. That's all. Wasn't that easy? Once you know how to find the y-intercept and the x-intercept, drawing the graph becomes super easy. Right, let's do the next question. So to do the next question, again, we need the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So let's find the x-intercept first. So x-intercept, what am I going to cover here? I'm going to cover the y because I'm finding the x-intercept. So once you cover the y, what are you left with here? Nothing, you're just left with x is equal to 4, which means the y-x-intercept is a -4. Sorry, it's a 4. Y negative, it's a 4. X-intercept is 4. Now if I'm writing the coordinates, that would be 4, 0. Now to find the y-intercept, I'm going to cover which one? I will cover the y. Sorry, I'll cover the x. So if I would cover the x, what am I left with? -4y equals 4. So we have to solve this. So to solve, it's going to be y equals 4 divided by -4, right? So that's going to give you a -1. So 4 divided by -4 is going to give you a -1, which means the y-intercept is a -1. So what are the coordinates? We have 0, -1. Just to graph them. This is 4, 0 here, and -1 is the y-intercept. So it's a very steep line, right? So this is how your graph would look if you would graph it. Wasn't that easy? Because just find the use the cover method, find the x-intercept and y-intercept and graph them. So if you know the y-intercept and the x-intercept, just join both the points, that's all. Okay, now let's do this question. Now from the look of the question, it might look difficult, but it's not. At a fair, hamburgers sell for $3 each and hot dogs sell for $1.50 each, $150 each. The equation 3x plus 1.5y equals 30 describes the number of hamburgers and the hot dogs a family can buy with 30 pounds. Find the intercepts, graph the function. So first of all, do make sure when you're finding the x and the y-intercept, whether it is in standard form. If it is not in standard form, we have to arrange and then only we can use the cover method. You cannot use just the cover method for any equation. First make sure it is in the standard linear form, only then we will use the cover method. Now this one, 3x plus 1.5y. So let's find out first. Let me write it here. 3x plus 1.5y equals 30. Now, is this in the standard linear equation form? Ax plus by equals c. Is that in the form? Ax plus by equals c. Yes, it is in the standard form, right? Now, because it is in the standard form, we can find the x and the y-intercept. Let me get the star from there because, okay, so to cover, let me cover. I'm gonna find the x-intercept first. So let me cover the y. So to find the x-intercept, I have 3x equals 30, which means x equals 30 divided by 3, which is x equals 10. So the x-intercept is going to be a 10, right? So write it down, x-intercept is 10. Same way, I'm going to find the y-intercept now. So to find the y-intercept, all what you need to do is cover the x. So if you would cover the x, what are you left with? You are left with 1.5 y equals 30, which is y equals 30 divided by 1.5, which would give you 2. 30, sorry, 20, right? So 30 divided by 1.5 is going to give you a 30. Did I say 30? 30 divided by 1.5 is going to give you a 20. So the y-intercept is going to be a 20, right? Now using these 2 points, let's graph it. So the x-intercept is the x-axis. So the x-intercept was a 10, which means it's 10 and 0, right? If I would write the coordinates, it's going to be 10 and 0. And the y-intercept, this is the y-axis, so the y-intercept is a 20. So that we have the 2 points, all what we have to do is simply join both the points. No need to extend because this is a perfect graph, so just leave it like that. Okay, so here let's write the x and the y-intercept. So the x-intercept is a 10 and the y-intercept is a 20. Now, the question continues asking, what does each intercept represent? Now, what do these intercept represent? Now, again, as I would say, if I'm writing the x-intercept, it's going to be 10, 0. What does this 10 show? 10, that's the value of x, is the hamburgers, right? This is for hamburgers. And what does the value of y show? It shows hot dogs. Now, when the value of hamburgers is 10, that means the hot dogs are 0. So what does this represent? What does the x-intercept represent? X-intercept represents the number of hamburgers that can be bought when no hot dogs are bought, because hot dogs are 0. So we are just going to write the x-intercept shows number of hamburgers they can buy, because you have to write it in proper sentence, right? So number of hamburgers that they can buy when no hot dogs are bought. So that's what the x-intercept says, because the hot dogs are 0. Now what does the y-intercept say? How do we write the coordinates of y-intercept? 0, 20. Now again, the value of x is 0, which means x is hamburgers. So the hamburgers are 0 and the hot dogs are 20. So what does the y-intercept say now? The y-intercept says the number of hot dogs they can buy when no hamburgers are bought. So this is what the x and the y-intercept say. Oh, why did I make this a D? Okay, bought, B-O-U-G-H-T, right? So this is, if anyone asks what do the x-intercept and the y-intercept say, immediately look at the x-axis. What does the x-axis show you? And look at what the y-axis show you. So if you write the coordinate here, as we have here, the x-axis shows hamburgers, that's 10, and the y-axis shows hot dogs, which is 0. So they can buy 10 hamburgers when they don't buy any hot dogs. And the other way around for the y-intercept. No hamburgers, but they can buy 20 hot dogs for $30. So that's all the lesson. Hopefully the lesson was easy. Do comment and let me know till we meet again. Keep practicing and see you all in the next video.